You ever notice how quiet it gets when you fall? When the lights go out, when the applause fades, when life knocks you flat on your back, suddenly all those people who said, I'm with you, I got your back, I'll always be there, they vanish like smoke in the wind. You call, they don't answer, need help, they're busy, you cry, and nobody comes running. And in that moment, when the silence feels louder than the crowd, you realize a hard truth. No one is really your friend when it comes to carrying your destiny. See, people will cheer for you when you're shining, when you're winning, when you've got something to offer. But the second you stumble, the second you need them more than they need you, suddenly the room is empty. And that's when the lesson hits you. If you keep depending on people to lift you, to support you, to save you, you'll be waiting forever. What if I told you that the very loneliness you fear is the key to your power? What if I told you that the people you're counting on can't take you where you're meant to go because the journey is designed for you and only you? So today, I'm going to tell you why depending on others is the fastest way to disappointment, and how the moment you stop waiting for friends, for family, for validation, that's the moment your life changes forever. You grow up believing in the idea of friendship. They tell you in school, these are your best friends. You'll grow old together. You'll always have each other's back. Movies make you believe that there will always be a loyal group standing by your side through every storm, through every heartbreak, through every fall. But life has a way of exposing the truth. Life has a way of peeling back the mask. Here's the reality most people don't want to admit. The majority of people who clap for you are not clapping for you. They're clapping for what you represent to them. As long as you make them feel good, as long as you provide entertainment, as long as they can benefit from being close to you, they're there. But the moment you stop giving, the moment you stop winning, the moment life gets dark, you'll be shocked at how quickly those friends disappear. Have you ever noticed how your phone rings when you're up, but it goes silent when you're down? When you've got something to celebrate, people crowd your space. They want to be in the pictures, they want to be in the stories, they want to be close to the shine. But when you're fighting battles no one can see, when the bills are piling up, when your heart is broken, when your mind is heavy, suddenly nobody has time. Suddenly the excuses show up. I've just been busy. I'll call you back. I'm going through my own stuff. That's not friendship. That's convenience. That's people who are loyal to their comfort, not to you. And if you don't open your eyes to that truth, you'll waste years waiting for support that was never going to come. Let me ask you something. Who are you when the room is empty? Who are you when there's no one cheering, no one clapping, no one checking up on you? That's the moment you meet yourself. That's the moment you find out whether you've been leaning on others as a crutch or whether you've built the strength to stand alone. The illusion of friendship is dangerous because it teaches you to expect from people what only you can give yourself. It makes you believe that someone else will carry your pain, someone else will push your dreams, someone else will fix your brokenness. But here's the truth. People can walk beside you for a while, but no one can walk for you. Nobody can climb your mountain. Nobody can fight your battles. Nobody can carry your destiny. That's yours alone. And here's the part that stings. Sometimes the people closest to you, the ones you thought would never hurt you, will be the first to betray you, the first to leave you behind, the first to remind you that friendship can be conditional. And if you're not careful, that pain can make you bitter. You'll start saying, nobody's real, nobody cares. I can't trust anyone. But that's not the lesson life is teaching you. The lesson isn't to stop loving people. The lesson is to stop expecting people to do what only you can do for yourself. See, life will test you. Life will strip away the crowd, the applause, the support system, just to see if you can still move forward when it's just you. Because until you learn to walk alone, you'll always be vulnerable to disappointment. Until you learn to carry yourself, you'll always collapse when someone drops you. And isn't it Funny how the same people who disappear when you're struggling show up again when you're winning. The same ones who left you in the dark suddenly appear in the light. That's how you know they were never committed to you. They were committed to what you had. And that's why you cannot build your life on friendship. You can't build your foundation on shifting sand. If you do, you'll collapse the moment the storm comes. So many people live their whole lives chasing approval, chasing acceptance, chasing friendship. They bend themselves just to fit in, just to be liked, just to feel included. And at the end of the day, they lose themselves trying to hold on to people who were never really there. You know what's worse than being alone? Being surrounded by people who make you feel alone. You've got to open your eyes. You've got to stop falling for the illusion. People can love you. People can like you. People can support you. But no one will ever care about your dream as much as you do. No one will ever fight for your destiny like you can. And if you don't understand that, you will always walk around hurt, always disappointed, always wondering why people don't measure up. Friendship is nice. Support is nice. But they are bonuses, not guarantees. Stop expecting everyone to show up for you and start showing up for yourself. Stop waiting for someone to push you and push yourself. Because the moment you realize that no one is your friend in the battle for your own future, that's the moment you stop waiting and you start working. That's the moment you stop complaining and you start building. That's the moment you stop chasing people and you start chasing your purpose. Don't get me wrong, there are good people out there. There are people who will love you, people who will stand by you, but you can't live your life depending on them. Because the truth is, even the best people have limits. Even the most loyal friends can't carry your dream. And if you don't learn to carry it yourself, you'll never get where you're going. So the illusion of friendship, it's just that an illusion. People are human, they're flawed, they're temporary. Stop putting your future in their hands. Stop depending on their loyalty to validate your worth. Instead, thank them when they show up. Forgive them when they don't. But never let their presence or absence control your progress. Because at the end of the day, it's you. It has always been you. And when you accept that, when you embrace that, you become unstoppable. There comes a point in life where you have to ask yourself a simple question: what happens if nobody shows up? What happens if nobody helps? What happens if nobody answers your call, nobody picks you up, nobody lends you a hand? Do you stop? Do you quit? Do you fall apart? Or do you find another way? That's the test of self-reliance. That's the moment you realize freedom doesn't come from depending on others. It comes from depending on yourself. See, when you're leaning on people too much, you don't even realize how heavy the chains are. You're tied to their mood, tied to their approval, tied to their support. If they're with you, you feel strong. If they walk away, you collapse. That's not freedom. That's prison. And the sad part is, so many people are locked up in that prison, waiting for someone else to give them permission to live, waiting for someone else to validate their dream, waiting for someone else to tell them they're good enough. But freedom begins the day you say, I don't need you to carry me. I can walk on my own. It begins the day you stop looking outward and start looking inward. Because everything you're searching for in other people, the strength, the approval, the support, it's already in you. You just never tapped into it because you were too busy begging for scraps of validation from the world. Think about it. Every great man or woman you admire, every story of resilience you've ever heard, it was born out of self-reliance. When they were told no, they didn't stop. When doors were shut, they found another door. When the crowd turned their back, they kept moving forward. They didn't wait for the world to agree with them. They didn't wait for everyone to say, we believe in you. They believed in themselves enough to keep going when nobody else did. That's what freedom looks like. You've got to get tired of being at the mercy of other people's loyalty. You've got to get tired of being controlled by whether someone supports you or not. The moment you say, I don't need your applause to keep going. I don't need your friendship to stay strong. I don't need your approval to pursue my dream. You cut the chains. That's the day you set yourself free. But here's the catch. Self-reliance isn't easy. It means you're going to spend some nights alone. It means you're going to carry weight that nobody else is willing to carry. It means you're going to face rejection, silence, doubt, and still keep moving. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because while everyone else is waiting for backup, waiting for a handout, waiting for someone to push them, you're already moving, you're already building, you're already growing. You want to know why most people never see their potential? Because they've tied it to someone else's faith in them. They say things like, if only I had more support, if only people believed in me, if only I had the right friends, the right connections. No, stop waiting for if only. Freedom is saying, with or without them, I'm going to make it. With or without their support, I'm going to rise. With or without their approval, I'm going to succeed. When you reach that point, something shifts inside of you. You stop fearing loneliness. You stop begging for attention. You stop chasing people who don't want to be caught. You realize that the only person who can make or break your future is the one in the mirror. And that realization is powerful because it means you don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to wait for the perfect conditions, the perfect friends, the perfect timing. You start now with what you have where you are. And here's the beautiful part. When you master self-reliance, people can no longer control you. They can't manipulate you by withdrawing their support. They can't discourage you by walking away. They can't break you by withholding their love or approval. You are free because your foundation isn't built on them, it's built on you. It's like climbing a mountain. Some people will walk with you at the bottom when the path is easy. But as you climb higher, the air gets thinner, the road gets steeper, and people start dropping off. If your strength depends on who stays with you, you'll never make it to the top. But if your strength comes from within, if you've trained yourself to rely on your own legs, your own lungs, your own heart, you'll keep climbing even when you're alone. And when you reach that peak, when you stand on that summit, you'll realize that the freedom of self-reliance was worth every lonely step. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you have to reject everyone. I'm not saying you can't have friends, can't have family, can't have people who love you. But what I am saying is this: don't let your life depend on them. Love people, but don't lean on them. Appreciate them, but don't expect them to carry your load. If they walk with you, that's a blessing. If they don't, that's still okay. Because your journey, your purpose, your dream, it was never meant to be dependent on anyone else. Freedom is knowing that no matter who comes or who goes, no matter who claps or who stays silent, you can still stand. Freedom is knowing that even if you wake up tomorrow and everyone has left, you've still got everything you need to keep moving. And here's the irony: when you stop depending on people, that's when the right people start showing up. When you stop begging for friendship, you attract genuine friends. When you stop chasing validation, you attract respect. When you stop leaning on others, you discover who actually wants to walk beside you. Not because they have to, but because they choose to. That's the gift of self-reliance. It doesn't just free you from disappointment. It attracts the kind of people who are aligned with your strength, not your weakness. But it starts with you. It starts with deciding that your future will no longer be held hostage by the presence or absence of people. So ask yourself again, what happens if nobody shows up? The answer should be simple. You keep moving, you keep grinding, you keep believing, because your destiny doesn't belong to them. It belongs to you. And the day you understand, that is the day you finally experience freedom. There comes a point in every dreamer's life where you've got to make a decision. Will you live by discipline Or will you live by dependency? Will you train yourself to do what needs to be done? Or will you keep leaning on other people to push you forward? Because let me tell you something, dreams don't work without discipline. And if you keep depending on others to carry you, you will never see the life you're capable of living. Dependency feels safe. It feels easy. When you're dependent, you can always say, I didn't make it because they didn't help me. I didn't succeed because nobody supported me. I didn't get there because life wasn't fair. Dependency always gives you someone or something else to blame. But discipline forces you to look in the mirror. Discipline says, if it's going to happen, it's up to me. That's a hard truth to swallow, because discipline requires you to show up even when nobody claps. It requires you to grind when you don't feel like it. It demands that you keep pushing when you'd rather take the easy way out. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about your commitment. Think about athletes who train day after day, long before the cameras show up, long before the crowd fills the stadium. They're up before the sun rises, working when no one is watching. Why? Because they understand something most people never grasp. If you don't discipline yourself, you'll spend your life depending on others. If you don't push yourself, you'll always need someone else to push you. And here's the dangerous part. People will only push you as far as it benefits them. But discipline will take you all the way to your destiny. When you depend on others, your progress is inconsistent. One day you're motivated because they encouraged you. The next day you're broken because they ignored you. You're up when they're with you, down when they're gone. That's a roller coaster, not a life. Discipline removes the roller coaster. Discipline gives you stability. It gives you consistency. It says, no matter how I feel, no matter who's around, no matter what's happening, I'm going to do the work. And here's the thing, you don't have to feel like doing it to do it. People think motivation is about feeling inspired all the time. That's not true. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going, because the truth is, you won't always feel motivated. There will be mornings when you don't want to get out of bed, nights when you don't want to keep working, moments when everything in you says stop, rest, quit. That's where discipline speaks up and says, not yet, not now, we're not finished. Some of you are stuck because you've been depending on inspiration instead of discipline. You wait for the perfect mood, the perfect timing, the perfect situation. You keep saying, I'll start when I feel ready. But let me tell you, if you wait for readiness, you'll be waiting forever. The people who win in life are the ones who act first and feel ready later. They discipline themselves to show up whether they feel like it or not. Discipline is also about sacrifice. It means you're willing to give up temporary comfort for long-term success. It means saying no when your friends are saying yes. It means working late when others are sleeping. It means investing in yourself when others are wasting time. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But ask yourself what's harder, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, because regret doesn't last for a moment. Regret lives with you. Discipline hurts now, but regret hurts forever. Dependency is rooted in excuses. It's always waiting for a savior, but nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to make you disciplined. Nobody's going to hand you success wrapped up in a bow. The world respects results, not excuses. The world listens to action, not explanations. The world rewards the people who show up and do the work, not the ones who sit back and wait for help. And here's the beauty of discipline. It builds trust within yourself. When you keep the promises you make to yourself, you stop doubting your ability. You stop depending on others to believe in you because you start believing in yourself. You develop confidence not from what people say, but from what you've proven. Every time you choose discipline, you're telling yourself, I can rely on me. I can depend on me. I can trust me. That kind of confidence can't be bought, and it can't be borrowed. It's earned. You see, people confuse freedom with doing whatever they want. But real freedom comes from discipline. Real freedom is being in control of yourself, not being controlled by your moods, not being controlled by other people, not being controlled by circumstances. Dependency says, I'll move when they move. Discipline says, I'll move regardless. If you want to break free from dependency, you've got to train yourself to be disciplined in the dark. Do the work when no one is clapping. Stay consistent when no one is watching. Build the habits when no one is paying attention, because what you do in silence will show in public. The truth is, everyone wants success, but very few are willing to embrace discipline. Everyone wants the reward, but few want the responsibility. But if you really want to live free from excuses, free from disappointment, free from dependency, you must embrace discipline as your lifestyle. So let me ask you again, do you want to live by dependency, always waiting for others to push you, always chained to their support? Or do you want to live by discipline, where no matter what happens, you keep moving, keep working, keep growing? The choice is yours. But understand this, dependency may feel easier, but discipline will set you free. Loneliness. That word scares people more than failure, more than rejection, more than pain. Nobody wants to feel alone. Nobody wants to sit in silence and realize it's just them and their thoughts. We've been taught that loneliness is weakness, that being by yourself means something is wrong with you, that if people leave you, you're somehow less valuable. But let me tell you the truth. Loneliness is not your enemy. Loneliness is your training ground. Loneliness is the place where strength is forged, clarity is born, and greatness is built. You see, the crowd makes you comfortable. When you're surrounded by people, you feel validated. When everybody is clapping for you, you feel important. But comfort doesn't build character. Applause doesn't build resilience. Validation doesn't build vision. It's in the lonely seasons, the nights where no one calls, the mornings where no one checks in, the days when the world forgets your name. That's where you find out who you really are. Some of you don't realize it, but the reason life has pulled people away from you, the reason doors have closed, the reason you feel isolated, it's not punishment. It's preparation. Life is forcing you to grow alone so that you stop leaning on people who were never meant to carry your destiny in the first place. Sometimes the only way to get your attention is to remove the noise, because as long as you're surrounded by chatter, you can't hear your own voice. As long as you're addicted to company, you'll never discover your true strength. When you're alone, you learn things about yourself. You can't learn in the crowd. You learn how strong you really are. You learn what you're capable of when there's nobody to lean on, nobody to call, nobody to pick you up. You learn how to build yourself by yourself, and that kind of strength, it's unshakable. Because once you know you can survive alone, once you know you can thrive alone, nobody can ever hold power over you again. Think about the greatest inventions, the most powerful books, the deepest breakthroughs. They weren't born in parties. They weren't created in crowded rooms. They were birthed in solitude. They came from people who were willing to be alone with their thoughts, alone with their pain, alone with their vision. The world calls it loneliness, but champions call it focus. The world says you're isolated, but destiny says you're being refined. Don't run from your lonely seasons. Embrace them, because loneliness forces you to face yourself. And let's be honest, some of you have been hiding behind people for too long. You hide behind friendships. You hide behind relationships. You hide behind crowds because you're afraid to sit alone and deal with your own reflection. But here's the truth. You'll never grow until you confront yourself. You'll never rise until you face your own flaws. And you can't do that when you're always surrounded by distractions. Loneliness can feel heavy, but it is not empty. It is full of opportunity. In your loneliness, you have time to learn, Time to create, time to grow, time to heal. You finally have the space to work on your vision without interruption, to strengthen your mind without noise, to hear your inner voice without interference. If you use it right, your loneliness can become the most productive season of your life. But here's the danger. If you don't transform your loneliness into power, it will transform into weakness. If you sit in your loneliness and complain, if you sit in your loneliness and cry about who left you, if you sit in your loneliness and dwell on rejection, you waste it. That's why so many people get bitter in their isolation. They think being alone means being abandoned. No, being alone means being chosen for growth, for development, for elevation. Let me remind you of something. Diamonds are formed under pressure, not in comfort. Steel is forged in fire, not in gentle breezes. And champions are built in lonely seasons, not in crowds. The people who fear loneliness never discover their power because they keep running back to the crowd, begging for company instead of using the silence to sharpen themselves. If you're alone right now, stop seeing it as a curse and start seeing it as a gift. Stop saying, nobody is here for me, and start saying, this is my time to focus. This is my time to rebuild. This is my time to rise. Because when you come out of your lonely season, you won't just be stronger, you'll be unstoppable. People will look at you and wonder how you did it. They'll wonder where your strength came from. And you'll know the truth. It came from the nights you cried, but kept going, from the mornings you woke up with no support, but kept grinding, from the days you felt invisible, but kept building anyway. Here's the irony. The more you embrace loneliness, the less lonely you actually feel, because you begin to realize you were never truly alone. You've always had yourself. You've always had your vision. You've always had that inner fire. You just couldn't see it because you were too busy trying to be surrounded by others. And when you learn to turn loneliness into power, something shifts. People no longer define your worth. Their presence or absence no longer controls your joy. You become whole. You become grounded. You become free because you're no longer afraid of being alone. You're empowered by it. So the next time you feel lonely, don't run, don't hide, don't panic. Sit with it, use it, grow in it, because loneliness is not where your story ends. It's where your strength begins. And when you walk out of that season, when you step back into the world, you'll be carrying a power no crowd could ever give you. If there is a truth many people spend their entire lives running from, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you your dream. No one is going to carry you to your destiny. If you want it, if you believe in it, if you see it, then you must take full responsibility for it. Your destiny is not in the hands of your family, not in the hands of your friends, not in the hands of your boss, not in the hands of your enemies. It is in your hands. And the sooner you accept that truth, the sooner you take ownership, the sooner you'll see your life start to shift. Most people live their lives they blame their parents for what they didn't give them. They blame society for not supporting them. They blame the government, the economy, their upbringing, their circumstances. And listen, I'm not saying those things don't affect you. I'm not saying life hasn't been unfair. Some of you were born into storms you didn't ask for. Some of you carry scars you never deserved. But at the end of the day, blaming won't change it. Complaining won't fix it. Waiting won't move it. The only thing that will change your future is the moment you say, it's on me, it's my responsibility, my destiny belongs to me. Think about this. Nobody else has your vision. Nobody else can see what you see when you close your eyes at night. Nobody else feels that fire burning in your chest when you think about your future. That vision was given to you for a reason. That dream was placed in you because you are the one meant to carry it. And if you don't move on it, if you don't build it, if you don't fight for it, it dies with you. That's why responsibility is so important. Because when you say, it's my responsibility, you stop waiting for the perfect conditions. You stop waiting for people to believe in you. You stop waiting for someone else to open the door. You start building your own door. You start walking through the barriers. You start creating opportunities instead of waiting for opportunity. Taking responsibility doesn't mean it'll be easy. It means you won't quit when it's hard. It means you won't give up when you're tired. It means you won't fold when you're disappointed. Responsibility is about ownership. It's about saying, no matter what happens, I'm going to keep moving. No matter who shows up or doesn't show up, I'm going to keep fighting. No matter how many times I fail, I'm going to get back up because this destiny is mine. Too many people are waiting for someone else to validate their dream. But let me tell you, validation is a trap. If you live for approval, you'll die from rejection. If you wait for people to confirm your vision, you'll never start. The world only respects results. And results come when you stop waiting and start working. Responsibility also means accountability. You can't just dream it. You've got to discipline yourself to do it. You can't just talk about it. You've got to show up every day and put in the work. Nobody else is going to write the book for you, build the business for you, lose the weight for you, heal the pain for you. That's on you. And the moment you stop expecting someone else to carry your load, that's the moment you discover how strong you really are. But here's the good news. When you embrace responsibility, you also embrace power, because responsibility and power are twins. You cannot have one without the other. The more you take responsibility for your life, the more power you unlock to change it. But the more you shift blame, the more power you give away. Every time you say it's their fault, you hand them the keys to your life. But every time you say it's on me, you take the keys back. You take back control. Don't misunderstand, responsibility doesn't mean isolation. It doesn't mean you can't have support, guidance, or help along the way. But it means whether people show up or not, you move anyway. Whether they clap or criticize, you build anyway. Whether they walk with you or walk away from you, you keep walking because your destiny is not tied to their loyalty. It's tied to your decision. Now let's be real, life will test you. Life will throw setbacks, disappointments, betrayals, failures. But when you've taken ownership of your destiny, you stop saying, why me? And you start saying, try me. You stop seeing problems as punishments and start seeing them as preparation. Because responsibility makes you stronger. It makes you resilient. It makes you unstoppable. You've got to stop waiting for the right time. You've got to stop waiting for someone to hand you the opportunity. You've got to stop waiting for perfect circumstances. The right time is now. The right person is you. The right circumstances are whatever you've got in front of you, because your destiny doesn't wait. It doesn't pause until you're ready. It moves when you move. So the question is, are you willing to step up? Are you willing to carry the weight of your own dream? Are you willing to say, even if it takes me years, even if I fail again and again, even if I have to walk this road alone, I will not quit, because this destiny is mine and mine alone. At the end of your life, it won't matter who helped you, who doubted you, who left you, who supported you. What will matter is whether you fulfilled the responsibility of living out your purpose. And nobody can answer for you. Nobody can step in and live your life. That's on you. So stop waiting, stop blaming, stop depending, take ownership, take action, because your destiny is your responsibility. And the moment you embrace that truth, nothing and no one will ever be able to stop you. You've heard it all. Friends will disappear, support will fade, the crowd will go silent. You've learned that the only real freedom is found in self-reliance, that discipline will carry you further than dependency ever could, that loneliness can be transformed into power, and that your destiny rests squarely in your hands. So let me leave you with this truth. Nobody owes you anything. Not your family, not your friends, not your boss, not the world. If you sit around waiting for people to rescue you, you will wait for the rest of your life. But the moment you rise up and say, I will carry this, I will own this, I will walk this path, whether anyone stands with me or not, you become unstoppable. The world does not reward dependency. It rewards responsibility. It rewards courage. It rewards the ones who refuse to quit. You don't need an army behind you. You don't need everyone to clap for you. You don't need permission. All you need is the decision that from this day forward, you will not hand your life to anyone else. This is your fight. This is your dream. This is your destiny. And it will not be built by excuses. It will not be built by blame. It will not be built by waiting. It will only be built by action, by grit, by fire, by faith, and by a relentless refusal to depend on anyone but yourself. So when the crowd is gone, when the phone stops ringing, when no one shows up, don't you dare stop. Stand tall. Keep moving. Keep building, because your life, your future, your destiny, it belongs to you and only you. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it?